Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Renee Chu. Great to have you with us as we stay on the air with you as we track Helene. If you want to watch the Today Show, it will be over on the 5.2 and on Spectrum 1255. Let's get to meteorologist Amy Wilmoth in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with where Helene is now and what we can expect here in the next few hours.
We just got an update from the National Hurricane Center. It's still a tropical storm, still really having huge impacts across North Carolina. It has winds at 60 miles per hour, so that's down from the last update that we had previously with 70 mile per hour winds. Moving to the north, so not making that northwest turn, moving to the north at 30 miles per hour, 35 miles to the southwest of Clemson, South Carolina. A look at the track. This is new. This is just in from the Hurricane Center. A tropical storm now, still a tropical storm over Tennessee by the time we get to 2 p.m. this afternoon with winds at 40 miles per hour, but all the impacts being felt across North Carolina. This is also just in, this map just came in. A tornado watch has been extended to include all of the viewing area. Chris, how long does this last? Do you know?
Because that's just been issued by the Storm Prediction Center, so the timing has not yet come out. I'll let you know as soon as I find out.
Okay, we knew this was coming. We knew the tornado threat was real, and now everyone under a tornado watch for the next several hours. I can say that with 100% certainty. This is a look at the radar right now. Very heavy rain still coming down across the western half of the state. This is what I'm watching. This band here, it has a history of tornado warnings. We still have some ongoing tornado warnings, and as that band approaches our southern counties, we'll have the potential for tornado warnings here as well. And we're watching radar carefully for any rotation, and we'll let you know if we get any tornado warnings for our area. This is a look at the, it's until 6 o'clock. Okay, they're going to have the tornado watch until 6 p.m. this evening. All right, this is from the Wilmington Weather Service. This is their radar. A closer look at these storms that have rotation in them. We're going to monitor that as well as these storms approach our southern counties. Right now, things still pretty quiet across our area. We do have some light rain moving into our southwestern counties, but overall fairly quiet right now. A weather alert day today. Heavy rain possible, gusts up to at least 50 miles per hour, especially in southwestern counties, and we do have that chance for tornadoes. A look at the hour-by-hour tornado threat. We have the greatest potential from around 9 a.m. until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Beyond that, the threat diminishes. We'll take a look at this with Futurecast coming up in just a little bit, Ken.
All right, Amy, we continue to follow that breaking news here in the WRAL Traffic Center. Mainly, we're talking about this situation here in Orange County. We're talking about this serious crash near the I-85, I-40 split there in Orange County. You can see the huge backups it's causing there on I-40 in those eastbound lanes. We know at least 3 lanes are blocked as a result of this crash. So if you have anyone coming in on I-40 eastbound and they have not made it to Orange County yet, make sure you tell them to get off on that 85 connect and head over to Highway 70 as an alternate route into the capital city. We continue to monitor this situation that we've been monitoring since 6 o'clock this morning. That crash right there on the shoulder of the road, really not causing any problems for you on the I-40 eastbound near Wade Avenue, but we'll continue to watch it and see if it continues to clear. We also have the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roadways this morning. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione and photographer Jamie Munden will be monitoring the road conditions right now. They're in southern Wade County. As this weather rolls in, they'll be giving you a closer look at what the conditions are here in the capital city. And of course, elsewhere, amazingly, we're not seeing any major delays on any of our major roadways, likely because Wake County, the largest school system in the North Carolina, canceled school today as a result of the storm, and many of you are likely working from home. But if you get ready to head out, make sure to remember you can listen to us on 101.5 HD3 anywhere in the Triangle. You have a couple of other options at 99.3 FM in Raleigh and 96.5 FM in Durham.
All right, thank you, Ken. This morning, Helene is making its way up the southeast. It is now being classified as a tropical storm. It made landfall on Florida's coast as a Cat 4 just after 11 p.m. last night. It was the strongest storm on record to hit the Florida Big Bend region. This is a live look in Atlanta right now. You can see a ton of flooding on the roads here. The storm has now turned deadly. As NBC reports, 3 people have died in Florida and Georgia. Watches and warnings are in place for millions of people due to Helene's massive size and strength as well. We have live team coverage here in the Triangle, on the roads, in the WRAL Storm Tracker, and out in the western part of our state. And that's where we find WRAL's Sean Gallagher, who is joining us from Asheville this morning. Sean, you spoke with business owners. Okay, we don't have Sean right now, so we're going to move on.
And here within the next hour or so, we'll start to see the rain and wind from Helene moving into our area. There were some storms overnight that already caused some damage. So let's go to Kelsey Coffey, who is live in Raleigh, where there is a tree that had fallen on an apartment building there. Kelsey.
Renee, well, just in the last half hour, we've seen a crew now trying to clean up that tree there. I'll step out the way so you guys can see here, but this is on Steinbeck Drive in North Raleigh. This is near Wake Forest Road, so you can see there that there's some blue tarp on the roof. There's definitely damage there. We've seen that the siding has fallen down some, and of course, we're expecting to see more down trees, as we've been hearing Amy talk about all morning, how the ground is really saturated right now. So we could expect to see more of that. As far as when this tree fell, we know that this happened at some point last night. We're working to confirm exactly when, so we'll be sure to keep you updated as this weather rolls in. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And we continue to follow Tropical Storm Helene as storm bands move through our area. Some parts of the Sandhills near the Cape Fear River are especially flood prone. We know that, and monitoring those areas. WRAL's Gilbert Bays joins us in Fayetteville this morning. Gilbert, how are things looking out there?
Still kind of calm, but the wind is starting to pick up. As you mentioned, we're here at Cross Creek. This is kind of a barometer for us to kind of determine how much rain is falling. And you can see that we got a little white water here coming across Creek here coming down, but nothing too substantial yet, but we know that's going to change. That's the good news. Bad news is today is the start of the International Folk Festival here at Festival Park, and you can see some tents already set up. We saw some crews out cutting the grass and everything. Things are going to be nice for tomorrow, but today it's going to be a little iffy. It's supposed to start at 12 o'clock here at Festival Park. We'll keep an eye on how things are developing down here. Also check out with PWC about power outages. The thing we want to make a point about with the power outages, we have a boil water advisory from PWC down here because of a break at one of the water filtering plants. And if the power goes out, how are you going to boil the water? So we're going to check with PWC and see if anybody's going to be providing bottled water to people who may need it if the power does go back out. Reporting live here in Fayetteville, Gilbert Bays, WRAL News.
And the Wake County Public School System, the largest in the state, will be closed today. Other school systems are doing the same thing, and that's because of the possibility of flooding and tornadoes. We have those closures scrolling on the bottom of your screen. We also keep the full updated list on our website. That's WRAL.com.
This morning at 11 o'clock, Governor Roy Cooper and emergency management officials will give an update on the state's response to Tropical Storm Helene. You can watch it live on WRAL, Fox 50, WRAL.com, and on WRAL News Plus.
And you can count on WRAL to keep you updated throughout the storms. Download the WRAL News app where you can find live radar and get alerts based on your location. Make sure your notifications are turned on. And remember, you can watch WRAL News live wherever you are, streaming on Hulu, YouTube TV, Spectrum, and the WRAL app.
And breaking news, a person was hit by a vehicle on a road near Zebulon this morning. Nick Perlin was there in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker.
Bun Road behind me is clear after being closed for about 2 hours after State Highway Patrol was investigating a fatal crash. Now take a look at this video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker, and you can see what this looked like a couple hours ago. You can see state troopers here as well as fire trucks and Zebulon police. We know at around 5 a.m. a man was hit by a car and sadly died. We know the woman driving that car also stuck around here to cooperate with the investigation. We're told she won't face any charges in this crash. We're told it was just an accident. Like I said, this road now is open behind me, but we'll continue to monitor any road closures that we might see with the storm heading our way today. In Zebulon, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
The band of rain that includes some tornado warnings is getting closer and closer to us. I'll show you when this arrives to our area when we have the biggest tornado threat coming up.
Welcome back on your Friday morning as we take a live look over a very cloudy North Hills. We are waiting for Helene to move in. It has now been downgraded to a tropical storm. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth has been tracking the storm, and she tells us exactly where it is. How much rain are we going to see?
The mountains already have had a ton. We're going to get some rain, 1 to 3 inches, and that could lead to some flooding. But this is a huge, huge storm. So it's a tropical storm, but it is very, very wide. It right now is 35 miles southwest of Clemson, South Carolina. This just came in at the top of the hour. Winds are at 60 miles per hour, still moving to the north instead of making that northwest turn, moving to the north at 30 miles per hour. This also is new, a tornado watch in effect for everyone until 6 p.m. this evening. We do expect rotating thunderstorms, and I would expect tornado warnings within the next hour or two. This is a look at the radar right now. This is the band that we're most concerned about with the tornado threat. It has had tornado warnings for hours with it. So we'll be monitoring this very carefully as it crosses into North Carolina and moves into our southern counties here shortly. This is a look at from the Wilmington radar. We also have this to look at to see the rotation within these storms as they approach the North Carolina state line as well. This is a look at our live radar in Wake County, and we have some rain moving into our western counties now. Nothing severe, but the rain is starting to move in. Weather alert day is in place today. We could have localized flooding. I think we'll have some flash flood warnings because the ground is already totally saturated. And because the ground is saturated with winds like this, trees will come down and we'll have power outages. And also, we do have that very real tornado threat for today. We have a level 2 risk for severe storms for most of the area, all the area in yellow, and then a level 3 risk for our southern counties. Really, if you're anywhere in our area, prepare for tornado warnings. Have a way to get warnings. Also, there is a flood risk today. We have a medium to low end risk, but in the mountains, that is not the case. It is a mess there, an extreme risk for flooding. That's already happening. Let's send it over to Chris Michaels with a look at the flash flood emergencies.
And there's so many of them. It's very rare that you get a flash flood emergency, let alone covering the area that it is. You see that from Greenville, South Carolina to Asheville, all the way up toward areas like Grandfather Mountain, Avery County. I could see that being extended into maybe even Ashland, Watauga counties as they continue to see some intense rain. The Blowing Rock sensor, it has not reported in quite some time. I have a feeling that the rain got so intense that it actually may have damaged the sensor. But at last check, nearly 16 inches of rain, more than a foot in Morganton, Grandfather Mountain, and Sparta, Boone, more than 9 inches of rain, and more to come. You look at this, anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of additional rain. You're thinking about a month's worth of additional rain on top of about 4 months worth of rain is what they've seen. Live look at Fayetteville. Pay attention to the monitor here. That camera is shaking, and it's not really that high. Wind is really starting to increase in the Sandhills, and with that comes a tornado threat. And you see that wind just above us moving at 50 to 55 miles per hour. So if there's a tornado warning, you're not going to have a ton of time to act. That's why we're emphasizing it now. These storms are going to be moving very quickly. Keep in mind that we're all under a tornado watch. It means conditions are favorable. If we're under a warning, that means that one is either on the ground or could happen soon. And it looks like late this morning into the afternoon is when that threat is highest. Here's Amy to detail that hour by hour.
And you mentioned how fast these could be moving. Earlier this morning in South Carolina, we had a tornado-warned storm. It was moving 70 miles per hour. That's how fast these are going to be moving. This is a look at the tornado threat this morning at 9 a.m. It's the southern half of the area. By 10 a.m., creeping into the triangle. 11 a.m., same thing. Triangle points to the south. The tornado threat is real. 1 o'clock this afternoon, it's from around the triangle and points to the east and south. And we still have the chance for an isolated tornado even late this afternoon and this evening. That's something new coming in with the latest model data. All right, this is the rain and the wind gusts. 10 a.m. this morning, we will have widespread storms and the potential for tornadoes within any of these. And look at the wind gusts here, over 50 miles per hour in Southern Pines. 11 a.m., it's the triangle, points to the east. That's when that heavy band moves in. And then once we get to 1 o'clock, the threat really over the eastern and northern part of the area. But notice how we have these little cells even after that. We'll watch those tornadoes for rotation as well, and we're going to have gusty winds this evening as well. A look at wind gusts right now. Very strong wind gusts in Charlotte, 46-mile-an-hour winds, 29 here in Raleigh, 38 in Fayetteville. A look at the maximum wind gusts since midnight, 52-mile-per-hour gusts in Charlotte, 44-mile-per-hour gusts in Boone. So already very gusty winds today, and that will continue, and we'll have power outages to contend with. So charge your devices. Showers and storms with us. We'll be monitoring radar carefully for the next several hours for the potential for rotation. We'll bring you warnings as soon as they're issued. Weather alert day today, nice and quiet tomorrow. That is good to hear. Back to a few storms on Sunday, Ken.
Amy, we continue to follow breaking news here in the WRAL Traffic Center, mainly the situation here in Orange County near the this crash near the I-85, I-40 split. They're causing a huge delay in this I-40 eastbound traffic. Here's what we're learning from the State Highway Patrol and a viewer sending this photo just a little while ago showing exactly what that scene looks like. This is a scene involving an 18-wheeler. You can see it's virtually demolished. Its load spilled all over the highway right there. We know from the State Highway Patrol that at least 3 lanes are blocked right now there on those eastbound lanes of I-40. Back here in the WRAL Traffic Center, I can tell you if you have anyone coming in on highway Interstate East on I-40, have them get off on an exit in Mebane, work their way over to the Highway 70 as an alternate route to come into the capital city. We continue to watch the situation here on the side of the road. That crash has been on the shoulder of the road now for the last hour and a half or so, not causing any problems in that particular area, but we'll continue to watch it. We also have the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roadways this morning, just north of Apex. Photographer Jamie Munden and meteorologist Anthony Baglione will be giving us a closer look at the road conditions as things begin to deteriorate here in the Triangle and surrounding communities. And the good news here is because we've reported that Wake County Cancer School, other school systems are doing the same thing. Many of you are probably working remotely this morning, so traffic is light. We're not seeing any major delays on any of our major roadways, but if you get ready to head out this morning, always remember you can listen to us anywhere on the Triangle at 101.5 HD3.
Time is 8:20 here in the WRAL Live Center. I want to point your attention to this screen here behind me. This is in Atlanta where there was a water rescue because of flooding there. If we could take this full, I want to show exactly what this is because I'm going to step off and interact with it a little bit to show you exactly what we're looking at. A woman is seen here in this video, and you'll look closely. I'll be able to pinpoint where this is. She's holding her baby with her right there during this rescue. And in addition to this child, we know that her dogs were also rescued as well. And that's what's unfolding right now, again, in Atlanta. I want to pull your attention to some other video here in the WRAL Live Center. This is a live look from news station WSB. Look at that flooding. Every couple of seconds, I keep seeing branches fall from the trees there. There's one right there. You can see the swaying in the back, the distance right there in that shot. So the situation is definitely intensifying flood-wise in Atlanta. At least 3 deaths have been reported in Georgia connected to this storm. And right now, again, they have that flood warning and expect tornadoes possible in that area as well.
Incredible images coming out of Atlanta, and we also have flooding happening in Asheville right now. Let's get to WRAL Sean Gallagher, who changed locations. He is now along I-40. Sean, what are you seeing?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of on I-40. We were stopped a little while. One of those trees that was partially blocking the roadway, but you can see there's debris all over the ground from these trees right there, a tree that's uprooted, and yeah, kind of hard to get by, but we are going to squeak by. We're on our way to Biltmore Village right now. We've heard that's an area that got hit really hard. We're not too far from that right now, but we have seen flooding that people were trying to drive through right outside of the hotel we were staying at in Asheville. That is not recommended. You don't want to go through any sort of water. You don't know how deep it'll be. But yeah, right now we're seeing a lot of trees that are down here in Asheville as a result. They had that heavy rain not a few days ago that on top of this rain from Helene is just making it very difficult for those trees to stay in place. So yeah, be careful. Don't go out if you don't have to. We've seen a number of emergency crews that are out. They've got places to go, people to save. So don't go out if you don't have to. But we'll bring you more as we get closer to Biltmore Village to see if there's any significant flooding here, which we are expecting to see, guys.
And just in that little stretch, we've seen all that debris there on the road, and we know you are with photojournalist Kurt Tremper, who is driving with you. You guys be safe there, and thanks for your live reports.
We want to take you live out to Atlanta. Again, this is a shot from a local news station down there. You can see just how bad the flooding is. We're going to stay on top of all of this weather coverage for you. We'll be right back.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Welcome back. It is 8:26. We are seeing some damage here in Raleigh even before the rain from Helene hit. We had some storms overnight, toppling trees in Raleigh. Let's get out to Kelsey Coffey live at this apartment building where a massive tree came down. Kelsey.
Renee, we're at Treetop Apartments in North Raleigh, and just within the last 45 minutes, crews have started to remove this massive tree. We get a little bit closer, but we've been asked to move back as these crews are working. They're trying to get this done as quickly as possible before the rain comes back again. I just spoke with someone who lives here in the apartment complex, and she says that the tree fell around 5:30 yesterday, and right now crews are just getting to clean it up there. So you can see damage there to the roof. There's blue tarp that's covering it there. You can see the siding that's falling. So we'll be sure to keep you updated on crews' progress as they're trying to get this done as quickly as possible. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Let's get over to meteorologist Amy Wilmoth tracking Helene. Amy.
This is what we're watching. We're about to head to a break, but I want to show you we have some tornado warnings down to the south. We'll have an update on our local radar coming up. I'm tracking this band of rain that's headed our way. It has tornado warnings within it. I'll show you when we could see some tornado warnings in our area coming up.
And we have team coverage tracking Tropical Storm Helene from the mountains to right here in the Triangle. We'll keep you up to date on the worst effects of the storm and what's in store for your commute on the roads this morning.
And breaking news this morning, we know a person is dead after being hit by a car in Zebulon. What we are learning about that crash. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to track Tropical Storm Helene and its effects on our state. If you would like to see the Today Show, you can catch it on over-the-air 5.2 and Spectrum Cable 1255. We will continue our live weather coverage here on WRAL to keep you informed of this tropical storm system that is massive, and it's also, we just got under a tornado watch for entire viewing area. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yeah, let's get right over to meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. Amy, you've been intensely tracking this storm, where it is, how much rain we're seeing.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep up with. That's why we have 3 meteorologists working this storm as it approaches the area. This is the band that I'm most concerned about. This is the band that has tornado warnings in South Carolina, and it's crossing into North Carolina. And we do have some rain in our southern counties now as well. A live look at our radar right now. You can see that rain moving into our southern and southwestern counties. No warnings for us right now, but in this band down here, that's where we have some rotation, and we'll monitor this very carefully, let you know if we get any warnings issued. As soon as they're issued, we'll let you know. We do have some pockets of heavy rain just to the south and west of our viewing area. It's getting very, very close to us. It's kind of hard to see, but there's some weak rotation within this band, even in North Carolina. Really difficult to see there, but I just want you to know I'm paying very close attention to the rotation on radar. Tornado watch. Renee mentioned this. It's in effect for everyone until 6 p.m. I think the biggest threat is going to be between now and until around 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon. We have a weather alert day today. We could have flooding, 1 to 3 inches of rain. That might not sound like much, but our ground is totally saturated, so that will cause flooding. We have the potential for very strong gusts. We bumped these numbers up because the center of circulation a little bit closer to us, a little bit more east compared to what the forecast was showing. So 50-mile-per-hour gusts possible. That will take down trees. That will cause power outages and tornadoes. A real threat here. That's why we have the tornado watch, and that's why we're watching radar very carefully. The hour-by-hour tornado threat, that's going to be highest from around 9 a.m. through 1 p.m. Around 2 o'clock is when we'll start to see things settle down. But even beyond that, there's still a low-end risk, and that's why the watch is issued until 6 p.m. this evening for everyone. A live look at some of our cameras. This is Pinehurst at the Resort and Country Club. Look how the rain's now coming down. Very dark clouds. We've seen some pretty gusty winds here as well. This is our Fayetteville camera down in Cumberland County. It's shaking here. It freezes at times because it's so windy down there. Very windy conditions. We have gusts at 38 miles per hour in Fayetteville. The gusts have now gone up in the Triangle as well. So this is new. 29 mile per hour gusts at RDU. So very strong winds. This is going to, it's not very strong, but it's strong enough to bring down trees because the ground is so saturated. And even this afternoon, this evening, once we get through with the tornado threat, the winds are going to stay very breezy. I'll have more on the hour-by-hour tornado threat with Futurecast coming up in just a little bit, Ken.
And Amy, we continue to follow that breaking news here in the WRAL Traffic Center. Mainly, we're talking about Orange County. This situation we've been monitoring now for the last couple of hours is a crash near the I-40, I-85 split, and you can see the huge backup it's causing there on those eastbound lanes of I-40. A viewer was kind enough to send us a picture of that scene, and we're seeing a completely demolished 18-wheeler. The load spilled off all over the street. We'll continue to monitor this. We have a crew on that way to that scene, and we'll have some more information coming up. But if you have anyone coming in from to the capital city from all points west, and they have to hit I-40 East, tell them to get off on a Mebane exit, make their way over to Highway 70 as an alternate route coming into the capital city. But again, we'll continue to monitor that situation there in Orange County. A couple of instances to report here in Wake County. This is a crash on Six Forks Road in the southbound lane. We were seeing a little bit of a delay there on Six Forks Road, but we're not seeing it anymore. But just look for some police activity in that area. This is a crash on Capitol Boulevard in the southbound lanes near Buffalo Road. We're not seeing any delays in that area. But again, you'll see some police activity if you're navigating Capitol Boulevard and that intersection with Buffalo Road. Here's a situation we continue to follow. They haven't been able to clear it yet, but it's off to the shoulder of the road there in the eastbound lanes near Wade Avenue, not causing any problems for you this morning, so nothing really major to report. Similarly, elsewhere all over the Triangle, none of our major roadways are experiencing any delays this morning, which is good news. But keep in mind, you're getting ready to head out this morning. You can always listen to us on the 101.5 HD3 anywhere in the Triangle.
Time is 8:34 here in the WRAL Live Center, keeping a very close eye on power outages in our state right now. I'm tracking roughly 477,000 customers without power in North Carolina. This map right here is from Duke Energy, showing you where it's going on. But I want to point your attention to Charlotte. Look at this right here. We've got a couple of different pockets that are noteworthy. 78 just north of the city, 25,000 just west of the city there. So I think that's worth noting in this particular reason. But obviously, you want to know what's going on in our area. So just to look at where we are, not considerably, as much as we're seeing out there, but 264 north of Raleigh, some by Durham, definitely worth noting there. One last thing I do want to point your attention to, and we'll go to the other screen for this one over here. This is the poweroutage.us map that we see here, and essentially this pulls data from so many different places regarding outages, not just Duke Energy, but Dominion, etc. And we'll see here, and actually the number just went up, 479,000 customers without power, most of them, understandably, in the western part of our state.
A lot of power outages. Thanks, Chris. Well, Helene is pushing inland this morning after landfall in Florida. It was downgraded to a tropical storm a few hours ago. This is a live look in Atlanta, Georgia right now. Right now, more than 1.5 million customers are without power across Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. As Chris was just talking about, the storm continues to produce dangerous winds. And new this morning, we've learned 2 people have died in southern Georgia after a possible tornado hit near the city of Alamo. That's about 2 hours from Savannah. And one person was killed yesterday in Florida when a highway sign fell on their car. A traffic camera captured the scene on Interstate 4 near Tampa. The names of the 3 who died have not been released this morning.
WRAL has the largest team of reporters and meteorologists covering Helene. We'll be on the air with you through the duration of this storm. We know the most severe impacts have been to our west in the mountains. And Sean Gallagher has been showing us what's happening in Asheville this morning. Sean, a lot of rain coming down and a lot of flooding already.
Yeah, that's right. We were able to make our way to Biltmore Village, which Buncombe County did have an emergency evacuation for anyone who lives here. And this is why. You can see all around us, the water is just absolutely flooding this little part of Asheville. You can see it's coming down this roadway. It's basically its own river. There's rapids that are right here. We've seen trash cans. I saw a potted plant get flushed all the way down here. And as you make your way over to this intersection, there's a McDonald's over there. You can even see a car. The water is all the way up to the top of the wheel well. The police have this area blocked off, but this is just a tremendous impact. We spoke to a business owner who owned a building in this area yesterday who said that he was expecting this to be worse than a storm that he experienced back in 2004, where he said it was about 4 feet high, went up into his building, and that really put them at risk then. This is expected to be even higher than that. And you can see I'm standing in a parking lot right now, and the water is up to my shins. If this was a parking space, the car would go back another 5 feet or so. So you can just imagine how deep this water gets, how quickly it gets so deep, and it is very powerful. That's why police, law enforcement, all sorts of first responders are telling everybody, do not go into any water like this. You do not know how deep it is, and you definitely don't know how fast it is. I mean, this looks exactly like a river, and it is a street that's usually traversed. It's a street that we were going on just yesterday, less than 24 hours later. This is what they're dealing with in Biltmore Village. That's why they're asking for a mandatory evacuation here, because it is just not an area you want to be. We're out here to show you what it's like so that you can stay home and not be out there. We're taking our own precautions. We're probably going to leave pretty soon because this water is inching its way closer to our vehicle that is parked here, and that's what flash floods do. They can just envelop you and get you stuck in a millisecond, it really feels like. So be safe, stay at home, don't go out if you don't have to. Let those first responders save the people who are really in need. But we'll toss it back to you guys for now.
Some good advice there, Sean. Thank you. Stay safe out there. We continue to follow Tropical Storm Helene as the storm bands move through our area here in the Triangle. Some parts of the Sandhills near the Cape Fear River are especially flood prone, and monitoring those areas, WRAL's Gilbert Bays joins us in Fayetteville this morning. Gilbert, how are things looking right now?
Oh, Michelle, what a difference 30 minutes make. When we talked to you last time, wind wasn't that big or bad, but it is picking up. We've had a few showers kind of pass through here, and so I have a wind speed indicator. I'm getting about 15, 20 mile an hour gusts down here, and we know that we're monitoring 40 mile an hour gusts. So things are picking up down here. I've checked with PwC in the last 15 minutes. No power outages from them. Only one from Duke to report over the Cedar Creek area. We are monitoring Cedar Creek because this area down here near Festival Park has a tendency to flood pretty quickly. And as I mentioned half hour ago, we have the International Folk Festival that's going to start here today. I talked with one of the organizers. They said that they've delayed the time that the vendors can come and set up from 9 till about noon, so that they're hoping they'll be on the backside of everything and the festival will be able to continue. Now, I've been covering these storms down here in Fayetteville for more than 30 years, day and night. And when these storms come through at night, it is devastating. Let me just say that I'm glad it's daylight while this one comes through, if there's any silver lining to watching what's happening down here. Reporting live in Fayetteville, Gilbert Bays, WRAL News.
And Helene makes its way toward North Carolina this morning. It's already causing issues, as you've seen throughout the morning. A tree has fallen on an apartment building in Raleigh, and WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from that scene. Kelsey, they're breaking up the tree behind you and taking it away.
So I'm going to step out the way now so you can take a look at what we're experiencing right now, or rather what we're seeing right now with these crews working. So they're trying to get this done as quickly as possible because they know that the rain is moving through really soon. I'll draw your attention to this so you can see that they have some caution tape here that's down here to show that people can't come to this area, but they have one of the limbs here from the tree tying that tape down so the wind won't take it away. We are experiencing a lot more wind really within this past 30 minutes, 45 minutes, as we know Helene is making its way over here. So we'll be sure to keep you updated as we continue to monitor the situation. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And we are in for a rocky morning weather-wise. Wake County Schools, the largest school system in North Carolina, will be closed today because of Helene. Other school systems are doing the same thing. A good call, as our entire viewing area is under a tornado watch right now. We have those closings scrolling on the bottom of your screen. We will also keep the full updated list on WRAL.com.
And this morning at 11 o'clock, Governor Roy Cooper and emergency management leaders will give an update on the response to Helene. You can watch it live on Fox 50 and on WRAL News Plus. And here in the Triangle, people got a taste of Helene a day early. A tree snapped and landed on a pickup truck in seconds. It happened at a home in North Hills. The owner was inside his home when it happened, and he was not hurt. Meanwhile, a viewer shared what appears to be a rotating wall cloud on Creedmoor Road Bridge. That's near Falls Lake. There was also flash flooding on Glenwood Avenue and Roanoke Park Drive, making for a messy evening commute.
As Helene pushes in, we will be on the air with you. You can count on WRAL to keep you updated throughout this storm. Download the WRAL News app, where you can find live radar and get alerts based on your location. Make sure your notifications are turned on. And remember, you can watch WRAL News live wherever you are. We are streaming on Hulu, YouTube TV, Spectrum, and the WRAL News app.
And as we head to break, we'll leave you with this image: flooded streets in Atlanta.
It is 8:46, and the western part of our state continues to get pummeled by rain from Helene. This is a live look at Asheville. It looks to be Biltmore Village, and all that flooding there. Look, you can't even see the streets, and fortunately no cars that we're seeing, any traffic trailing on there. Of course, that area has already seen a foot of rain, and that rain keeps coming down. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth showing us a live view of what's happening in Boone. Extensive flooding there.
It is. It doesn't look as bad as it is in Asheville, but this is a live look at King Street. The wind's really picking up here. The strongest wind gust so far, Chris Michaels just shared this with me, 44 miles per hour in Boone. And the water's starting to cover part of the roadway here in Boone as well. So conditions really deteriorating in the northern part of our mountains. This is a look at the radar right now. This is some good news. We don't have any tornado warnings. That's the first time that I can remember in hours and hours that we haven't had any tornado warnings, but still rotation within this band. And as it approaches our area, we're going to have to monitor that very, very carefully. Still very heavy rain over the North Carolina mountains, and that's where there are numerous flash flood emergencies in place. Closer look at our radar. We do have some scattered showers in the southern and western part of the viewing area. No warnings right now, but there is some rotation in the area that you see that's just to the south and west of Southern Pines, back toward Laurinburg and Rockingham as well. We can zoom in here and show you that there is a little bit of weak rotation showing up on radar. So we'll let you know if any warning is issued. We do have a tornado watch that includes the entire viewing area until 6 o'clock this evening. I think the biggest threat is probably going to be between now until around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Heavy rain, it's a threat today. We could have some localized flooding. That's why we have the weather alert day. We also have the alert day because very gusty winds, perhaps up to 50 miles per hour. And obviously we have that chance for tornadoes. The severe risk today, it's a level 2 for most of you, a level 3 for our southern counties. And the flood risk is extreme for the North Carolina mountains. Major problems over the western part of the state. Chris Michaels is here with a look at some of the flash flood emergencies.
And you know, sometimes very rare that you get these emergencies for like a single county. Look at the amount of real estate that's covered in these emergencies from Greenville, South Carolina, northward toward areas like Grandfather Mountain. I could stand to see Boone potentially getting added to that. I know it's Parents Weekend at App State. You're going to want to delay the trip at least until later today, if not tomorrow morning. Look at these rain totals, 10 to 15 inches. We first told you about that Tuesday here on WRAL News, that was a potential, and unfortunately that's coming to fruition in the mountains of North Carolina, and there's more to come. You see in those reds and purples especially, 2 to 5 inches of rain in addition to what's already been seen. That's from Asheville north toward areas like Galax and Fancy Gap in Virginia. Back here at home, here's our Fayetteville camera, and it's shaking in the wind. The latest gusts that we saw at Fayetteville, 38 miles per hour, forecast to increase here over the next little bit. The wind about 3,000 feet above us is howling about 50 to 60 miles per hour. So warnings, if and when they're issued, they're going to be quick. Make sure you take your phone, your tablet, and look at the WRAL News app. If any warnings are issued, we'll be streaming on there. Lots of ways to get those warnings. And we're going to time out the hour by hour, the rotation that meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is tracking right now.
Right, the tornado threat is going to be with the triangle and points of south starting around 10 a.m. and then the threat still with that same area at 11 a.m. this morning. By the time we get to lunchtime, 1 o'clock, that shifts a little bit to the east, mainly east of the triangle. And then by the time we get to 5 o'clock, we really start to see that tornado threat diminish. Winds are going to be a concern. Gusty winds will bring down trees and cause power outages. 10 a.m. this morning, that band of rain moving in with the potential for tornadoes in our southwestern counties. 11 a.m. moving into the triangle. The numbers that you see, those are the potential wind gusts. Raleigh, a 50-mile-per-hour gust around 1 o'clock this afternoon. So again, we're going to have very strong winds, the potential for tornadoes, and the winds are going to stay gusty through the day today. Right now, we have winds at 32 miles per hour. Those are the gusts in Raleigh, 44-mile-per-hour gusts right now in Charlotte. Hour by hour today, the worst of it is going to be between now until around 2 o'clock or so, and then just isolated showers and storms beyond that, with temperatures climbing into the low 80s. So a weather alert day today. It's a mess the first half of the day. Better weather by Saturday, and then some storm chances return for the end of the weekend, Ken.
Amy, we continue to follow that breaking news here in the WRAL Traffic Center, mainly this situation there in Orange County. The serious crash near the I-85, I-40 split, causing a huge backup on I-40 eastbound this morning. Take a look at a picture that a viewer sent in. This involved an 18-wheeler, looked virtually demolished. It spilled all over the roadway. We know for a fact from the state troopers that at least 3 lanes are closed, which is slowing down traffic in a major way. We have a crew on the way to the scene to gather some more information. But back in the WRAL Traffic Center, if you have anyone stuck in this traffic, have them take a Mebane exit over to Highway 70 as an alternate route into the capital city. A couple other things to tell you about this morning. This crash on Six Forks Road in the southbound lane near Strickland Road, not causing any problems for you this morning. Just keep that in mind. Capitol Boulevard, southbound lane, this crash at Buffalo Road. Again, here we're not seeing any major problems to report, but I just want you to know what's happening out there if you're about to head out. Also in North Raleigh, on Oak Forest Drive in the eastbound lane at Tanglewood Drive, not a problem to report for you this morning. Just look for that police activity. I'm going to give you a live look now at I-40 and Wade Avenue. This is a crash that we've been monitoring this morning. You can see it's off to the shoulder of the road, not causing any problems for you. Traffic is flowing around nicely. We also want to remind you that we have the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roadways this morning. Photographer Jamie Munden and meteorologist Anthony Baglione in the Storm Tracker this morning. As the weather deteriorates, they'll be giving you a closer look at what road conditions are like if you have to head out this morning. And if you have to head out, don't forget you can pop us on the radio. Listen to us at 101.5 HD3 anywhere in the Triangle.
2 things to tell you about here in the WRAL Live Center. One, we just got a news alert within the past, 5-ish minutes from the American Red Cross. There's a map that is available showing you 7 shelters that are available through the Red Cross. Let's pull this up in the full screen if we're able to, but you'll see that there are some near Charlotte that are over here. You'll see one near Johnson City, and then we also have Asheville has a couple of those different shelters open there as well. And if you want to access this map, just go to Google and type in Red Cross shelters and then in North Carolina, and this map should be able to come up for you. The other thing I want to show you is this video that we're seeing coming out of Cedar Key, Florida, and I just think it's so compelling to watch this. This is a doorbell camera video, and watch as the water, this is the moment right before water covers the doorbell camera and shows you just how severe the storm surge was because of Helene.
All right, thank you, Chris. And as we head to break, we're going to leave you again with this live look in Atlanta and all the flooding they're experiencing right now.